Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for our wonderful Live Your Life Holiday Healthy Meal Session. Tonight's event is sponsored by none other than Majority Council Leader right here in New York City, Lori Cumbo. And Lori Cumbo services the 35th District right out of Brooklyn. I'm a Brooklynite, so shout out to Lori and her whole team for sponsoring tonight's healthy holiday meal session. Laurie's 35th district consists of Fort Greene, Clinton Hill, Prospect Heights, and parts of Crown Heights and Bedford Stuyvesant. So we are excited today to bring you such a wonderful event, not only sponsored by City Council Majority Leader Lori Cumbo, but also by AmitaCare. AmitaCare is a Medicaid health plan designed to provide care for those who may live with or at risk of the HIV virus. AmitaCare also realizes that healthy living is more than just doctor's visits and medication. It's about a person's whole well-being, including things like housing and healthy food, which is what we're going to learn about today. And this session is part of our free wellness event that we sponsor throughout the year, just promoting healthy living within a fun lifestyle. So before we get started, we have a wonderful nutritionist with us here today. Her name is Keri Watkins-Webb. She is just so amazing. She teaches me a ton about sugar. We also have Lori in the building looking amazing. Lori, I thank you so much for sponsoring tonight's event. We just shouted out the 35th district here in Brooklyn. We want to shout out you as our, majority leader here for New York City. So please, without further ado, can you just tell us a little bit about just, yourself and everything that you do for community?
Hi, everybody. I am Majority Leader Lori Cumbo. How y'all doing? Not feeling no energy. How y'all doing? Give me some hands.
We're doing good.
Hey. I am just so excited to be on the call today. AmitaCare has done so much for our community in terms of health and wellness, and making it not something that is a selfish act. So often when we think about exercise, healthy eating, taking time for ourselves, meditation, yoga, we think that we're being selfish and that we're prioritizing ourselves over others. And we absolutely are. It's time that we break those stigmas and stereotypes in terms of how we prioritize our health and our wellness. And AmitaCare has always stood for that. And what I most admire about the work of AmitaCare is that it takes this mantra right into our communities, into Black, Brown communities, where introductions to healthy eating and how to meditate, how to exercise, how to do for yourself have been programs that I personally have benefited from, that AmitaCare has done. And so many people are really gravitating. I remember when we were in Ebbets Field and we were doing exercise programs and people were like, we want more. Like, are y'all coming back next week? So it really just showed, there's a hunger for this. And it's certainly something in the council that we must continue to prioritize and to continue to work on. I mean, these are very challenging times. And, certainly self-care is so critical right now. And I really just hope that, people understand and recognize that this really is that time to prioritize yourself, your health, your wellness, your goals, your ambitions, your spiritual health, your financial health, your dreams and your visions. I think so much of what this pandemic has been about is I'll say the universe saying to sit down, be still, and hear yourself and what the universe is telling you. Because we always have these goals and ambitions that we say, if I just had time or the energy or the focus, I would do these things. So it's important that we recognize what are those things that spirit, that the universe, that God has been telling us to do, that have been heavy on our hearts and our minds, whether it's exercise, whether it's writing a new book, whether it's starting a savings plan, whatever it is, this is the time to really do it. This is the time to emerge from this pandemic as the best version of yourself that the world has ever seen. So I'm just going to say, I'm here. It's been an honor to support Amita Care. As long as I'm in the council, I will continue to support Amita Care. Um, I thank you for the work that you're doing, and certainly always consider me a partner and a friend.
Thank you
That's it.
so much, Lori. I appreciate you. I was trying to soak in all the words because you hit it right on the nail. It's a time for self-care. It's a time
Right.
for us to bloom. There's a book, it says a tree grows in Brooklyn, and I think a lot of flowers and trees are blooming up in this season. So we are definitely taking over, and I cannot thank you enough for today's wonderful session sponsored by your office. We are so awesome to just bring our community another healthy session. And like you said, when we were at Ebbetsfield, we were rocking. So we cannot wait until it's
We
healthy and
were
it's
rocking.
safe for us to be back out in community doing what we would, working out, yoga, fitness, dance, just bringing that wellness and that Amita Care touch right in the heart of our communities to our Black and Brown brothers and sisters who are, just waiting for us to get back out there. So we're ready.
We're ready. We are ready. I can't highlight enough because there are stereotypes that communities of color do not prioritize health and wellness and exercise and those sorts of things. And, we really have to break those stereotypes. So even doing the Zoom, bringing it into the virtual space, we have to normalize exercise, fitness, meditation. These terms and concepts and realities have to be synonymous with communities of color. That's just what we do. And I'm certainly here for it and certainly want to participate in it because there's a revolution happening in this world right now, and the greatest revolution is within. So if we can change ourselves and our internal workings, and let me tell you something, it's an everyday battle. Sometimes we think I'm going to go in and I'm going to work on myself and then I'm going to be great. Working on yourself is an everyday battle that will almost never be achieved. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for more. You're always growing and evolving. And that's what I've seen most as an elected is my evolution through this process. And as you evolve, you have to evolve. So that's essentially what it's about.
Thank you, Lori. And this is why you're so amazing. I love everything that you said because it rings so true to, who we are as community, who we are as individuals. The fact that, evolution, it's a continued process. It goes every day. It's a moment by moment thing that we're doing here and day by day. So working with our fellow community members, working with wonderful, leadership like yourselves, Lori, and working with such wonderful vendors and facilitators like our wonderful nutritionist, Keri Watkins-Webb, to normalize healthy eating, to normalize veggies, fruits, low sugar meals, to normalize, what we put in our bodies. So I thank you so much. And without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to our wonderful nutritionist, our health expert for tonight, Miss Keri Watkins-Webb. She's going to give us a wonderful, healthy turkey chili recipe. I got my pen ready, Keri. I got my pen ready. Thank you.
You go ahead, Keri. Yes, Keri.
Well, good evening, everyone, and greetings, Majority Leader Kumbo, the Amita Care community, and everyone watching. It is a pleasure and an honor to be with you this evening and share some healthy recipes that you and your family can enjoy this holiday season. And as Majority Leader Kumbo said, everybody is a work in progress. And this is true of myself. And so 20 years ago, I was obese and I was a sugarholic and I had a lot of ailments. And so I made the decision to stop the cycle and do something new. And so one of the things that I learned about was how to prepare meals from fresh, wholesome ingredients. And that's what I want to share with you today. So, and as the temperature is dropping outside, today we saw snow flurries, and we're quarantined at home. There's no better time to make one of my favorite dishes, and that's chili. So today I'm going to share with you how to make a white turkey chili that's flavorful and delicious as well as healthy. A lot of times people say, well, if it's healthy for you, it probably doesn't taste good. So, but I'm going to show you how you can make this yourself and make it taste delicious using wholesome ingredients. Okay. And a lot of times people ask me, well, is chili good for a diet now that we're quarantining? A lot of people have gained that quarantine 15. They want to know, well, I want to lose weight. What can I do? So if you use the right ingredients, most definitely, yes, this turkey chili recipe is something that you can use to help you gain nutritious and wholesome vegetables and proteins, but also it's full of iron, magnesium, potassium, zinc, folic acid. So we're using whole fruits. We're using pumpkin. Now, this is something that's traditionally, I'm sorry, this is sweet potatoes. This is something that's traditionally not in a chili, but I've added it, sweet potatoes. I've also added pumpkin. So, and we're going to be using this ingredient a little bit later for our dessert. So I've added a lot of different ingredients that are full of different nutrients that typically you won't find in a chili. So it's going to be interesting. So, and I used to be anemic. And so I've experienced what it's like to have an iron deficiency. So I know that it's important to get enough iron because it boosts my energy level, helps me sleep better, helps me maintain a positive mood. And, you know, these days, it's really important to try to achieve a positive mood and an uplifted spirit when spirits may be low and stress levels are high. So this is one recipe that has it all. And a lot of times, a lot of people are vegetarians. This dish could be vegetarian. So I'm using white turkey chili, ground turkey, processed ground meat. But you can just use beans and the other wholesome ingredients that I use, and you can make it your own. So you can do with it what you will. Okay. So eating iron-rich foods like we talked about, like turkey, along with these plant-based ingredients, they actually help your body to absorb iron better. And I learned something the other day that if you cook with a pan that is that has iron in it, now it's escaping my memory, but if you a cast iron pan, you actually can absorb iron in your diet that way. That's something that I learned the other day that's interesting. So but that's why this chili with its combination of turkey and vegetables, it's loaded with iron. So it's something good and healthy for you. So now you could also, I said that you could use beans in this recipe if you're a vegetarian, but you can also use ground chicken. I prefer the turkey because it's leaner and it has more protein, iron, and healthier fats than chicken does. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to turn my pan on a little bit and I'm going to move my screen down so that you can see exactly what I am doing. Okay, so now you can use a large pot. What I did is, this is just a pot that I have. This is a 6-quart pot that I have that has the electricity connected to it because I wasn't able to, my stove is on the other side of the room and this was the best lighting area. So, but you can use just any large pot over medium heat. Sometimes people use a pressure cooker. You can do that as well, or those Instapots, you can use any of that. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is add olive oil. Now with this recipe, you can also use, and the recipe is going to be posted, you can also use coconut oil. You know, be creative and adventurous. You could also use something called ghee, and that's a clarified butter. So it adds a different type of flavor. So we're going to use the olive oil, and then when the pot becomes hot, which it is, I'm going to add the ground turkey. All right. So, yeah, so you can hear that. So now I'm going to add the onion. I chopped up a small onion. You don't have to use that much. I chopped up, I like onions, so I used a lot. So I chopped up a small onion. I'm gonna add that. And I'm gonna add my salt and pepper at this time. This is kosher salt and my pepper. Turn this around. Smells good already. And we just want to brown the meat. And you're going to do this for about 7 minutes until the onions get translucent.
Keri, I noticed you said you use kosher salt. I noticed that a lot of people have been using like pink Himalayan salt lately.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you say that again, Sandrine? I didn't hear the beginning.
No worries. I noticed that you said kosher salt, but I noticed like there's been a trend with the pink Himalayan salt. Is there a difference?
So great question. So all salt comes from the sea, but I wanted to talk a little bit about the white table salt that's iodized that you see in stores, like the Red Cross kind of salt. So that's iodized because back in the 50s, it was determined that people weren't getting enough iodine in their food, and so they iodized the salt. But what happens is that they also put bleaching agents and other chemicals in the salt, so you're taking that in. So the kosher salt doesn't have that, and the Himalayan pink sea salt has a lot of great benefits. So and that also comes from the sea, but a lot of times that the salt is in its whole form. I have some here that I can show you. Okay, so it looks like this. And so the crystals are hard and it has a grinder, so you can add that to your food. But I like the kosher salt because it has the fine crystals and it's good for cooking, but it doesn't have the heavy additives that regular table salt has. So, but that's a good question. The Himalayan pink salt is also good for the respiratory system. So a lot of times if people have breathing problems, they can go to some places like a salt cave, and they can it's actually a room that just has Himalayan salt all around the room and on the floor. And so people can actually open up their airways by using Himalayan salt in that way, but it could also be ingested. So it's a great question. Okay. So
thank you for that information.
Yeah, thank you. So now my meat is brown. Now I'm gonna go to the next step and we're gonna add the spices. So we're gonna add the oregano. We're gonna add the chili powder, the cumin. Ooh, smelling good. Garlic powder. Ooh, I wish you could smell this, smelling good. Okay. Now, a lot of times after the meat is brown, a lot of people like to drain it, but I'm using this very lean turkey. It's 90% lean white ground turkey, so there's very little oil. So I'm gonna lower this a little bit. Smelling good. So I'm gonna just stir this evenly and coat the meat and the onions and the spices. Okay. So now we're gonna add our next step. It's a half a cup of broth. Okay. So this is vegetable broth, but you could also use chicken broth. So I'm gonna add half a cup. Yeah. Just continue to coat this around. And all of the spices are on the bottom. You're just gonna do my best to bring them to the top. Okay. Now I'm gonna add more of the broth. This is 1.5 cups more of the same vegetable broth. Okay. All right. Smelling good. Now I'm gonna add my sweet potato. So I took a sweet potato and I cut it into 1/2-inch cubes. So I'm gonna add this. Now, again, a lot of people don't think about adding sweet potatoes to a chili, but it really makes it a hearty dish. And I try to get the vegetables in whenever I can. I'm also gonna add my peppers. I have red, about 2 red peppers that I chopped. Okay. Still stirring, smelling good. Now I'm gonna add my green peppers. So such bright colors. Okay. Okay, stir that around.
This looks absolutely amazing, and I'm loving the colors. It just fits right into the festiveness of the holiday season.
I know, it is beautiful. Now I'm gonna add something that's also not usually used, and this is pumpkin puree. So I'm gonna add this as well. Pumpkin is an amazing ingredient and it lends itself to a lot of different recipes. We're going to be using it a little bit later for our dessert. So stay tuned for that. So nice, thick, hearty looking, smelling amazing. Okay, I'm going to just keep stirring this around. I'm going to just stir it till everything is combined evenly. So again, most recipes or chilies don't usually call for sweet potatoes or pumpkin, but it's a great way, especially if you have kids who don't like vegetables or a husband like I do who doesn't like vegetables. It's a great way to sneak it in. So you can see all of the beautiful colors. So. And the red and the green peppers, they also are vegetables. So that's another, and of course the onions, so. Okay. Now, one last thing that I'm gonna add is my fire roasted tomatoes.
Is there any specific reason why it's fire roasted?
It adds a little spice that I like. So you don't have to, you can use regular canned tomatoes or fresh tomatoes, but I like it, the little kick of spice that it adds to it and the flavor.
And I'm putting the recipe ingredients for this healthy holiday turkey chili into the chat right now. And I can also email it out to anyone who would like that as well. I can definitely do that.
Okay, so now we're just gonna bring our chili to a boil now that everything is pretty much evenly been incorporated. I'm gonna reduce the heat and simmer. Now, because we're gonna be using this area to make something else, I'm just gonna detach this right now and I'm gonna move it to the other side of the room. Let's see. Okay, to get my plug. Smelling good. Oh. So I'm just gonna allow that to cook for an additional 20, 30 minutes. Okay. And I'm gonna cover it just arranging stuff over here. Okay. And I'm gonna bring this out when it's done. You're gonna see the finished product. All right. Okay. So I'm gonna put the lid on and let it simmer. So that's cooking on the other side of the room. And while that is being prepared, we're gonna talk about dessert. And again, I'm gonna use pumpkin that I used before. So let me see. Let me just move this up. So while that is cooking, can you see it? It's right there cooking on the other side of the room.
Yep, we see it.
Okay, so now let's talk about dessert. All right, so I'm gonna show you how to make a simple, delicious dessert that's gonna prevent you from consuming too much sugar and also help with portion control. As Sandrine mentioned, I always talk about the negative effects of sugar on the body. And I used to be a self-proclaimed sugarholic myself. So anytime I can talk about ways in which you can reduce your sugar intake, I am excited to do so. So today we're gonna make a pumpkin pie using the same pumpkin ingredient that we use in the chili. We're gonna make a pumpkin pie in under 5 minutes. That's right, I said it, you can time me. This pumpkin pie is perfect for when you wanna have something sweet but don't want to make a whole pie or buy a pie. So this is a one single serving dessert that you can make very easily and quickly, all right? So remember, this recipe is gonna help with portion control. So I'm going to show you how you can do it. And people are gonna ask me, well, how can you make it in 5 minutes? I've never made a pie in 5 minutes. You're gonna make it in the microwave, okay? And for those of you that don't like microwaves, that's okay. You can do same recipe and you can use a silicone baking cup and bake this in a standard oven at 350 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes, okay? All right, so I'm gonna move my screen down so you can see the magic. So, bringing over these ingredients. So we have an egg, we have milk, we have brown sugar, pumpkin puree, and again, the recipe will be attached in the chat. And graham crackers. So the graham crackers are what's gonna be used to make your crust, okay? So how do we do that? So now this is the equivalent of 2 small sheets of graham crackers. You know that they come in sheets. So this particular brand that I got, they come in small squares, but this is the equivalent. So now I put them in a Ziploc bag, and this is how I'm gonna make my crust. I'm gonna just mash it all together. Let me move this out the way so you can see. All right, I'm just gonna mash it up. And if you have kids, they would love to do this. Sometimes people take a rolling pin and do this, but any instrument that's gonna mash them up. This is how we're making our crust, which is going to be the base of our pumpkin pie and our mug. So just continue to pulverize it. If you have any aggression, any stress, anxiety, this is a great way to get rid of it. Just continue. All right. All right. Now I broke my bag. I went overboard. So for this recipe, you're going to get just a standard mug. Now, the first time I made this, I got a very wide mug. It was wide on the top, but smaller on the bottom. So I recommend that you just use a mug that's even throughout. So can you all see? Right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the base of okay. Oh, this is a big piece I didn't pulverize. All right. So this is going to be my base, my crust, okay? It could have been pulverized a little bit more so that it's more refined. So, but for today's purposes, this is fine. Okay, I'm gonna put this aside. Now I'm going to make the pie ingredients, okay? So I have here, I already added my milk. This is 1 tablespoon of milk that I'm gonna combine with the pumpkin puree. Ooh, that chili is smelling good. All right, so I'm gonna combine with the pumpkin puree. All right. And I'm going to also put an egg. Okay. All right, and then I'm going to also add brown sugar. I'm also going to add my salt. Where's my salt? Oh, do I have salt here? Okay, how much salt do I need? I need, oh, just a pinch of salt.
A generous pinch of salt.
Okay. Generous pinch of salt. All right, looking good. And my vanilla extract. And my cinnamon. Okay, so I'm just gonna whisk this together until smooth. Oh, my kitchen is smelling wonderful right now. And this is something easy and fun that you can make in an instant. Doesn't take much time, doesn't take much ingredients. So again, I'm gonna continue to whisk until everything is smooth. I'm almost there. All right, I think we are ready. So now you're gonna take your mug, which has your graham cracker crust, and now you're gonna add your pumpkin pie ingredients on top. Now, I have a 1200 watt microwave, and it takes me exactly 2 minutes to make this. But what you can do is, let me make this a little smooth on top. What you can do is you can check every 30 seconds to see that it's the consistency that you want. You don't want it to be too rubbery. Okay. So this is what it looks like. Crumbs are on the bottom. Now time for the microwave. I'm gonna put this on for 2 minutes. And what is pie without whipped cream? So I'm going to show you how you can make a whipped cream that's healthy, quick, and delicious. And it's sugar-free. So for this, I'm going to need a food processor. Now, if you have a mixing bowl, a mixer, you can also use that. But I like the way it comes out in the food processor. My house is smelling good. All right, so 3 simple ingredients for our whipped cream. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to add is 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Okay, the next thing that we're going to add to this is 1/2 teaspoon of something called stevia glyceride. So a lot of times people don't like stevia because they say it has an aftertaste. But I find that this is really good, especially when making this whipped topping dessert. And this has 0 calories. So stevia is an herb. So a lot of times it comes from a leaf and it's a natural and wholesome sweetener. All right. So for this, I'm going to add 1/2 teaspoon of the stevia glyceride. Uh-oh, smelling good. Okay. And I'm gonna check on my pie. All right, ooh, smelling good. All right, so this is what, before I add the whipped cream, this is what your pumpkin pie is gonna look like, but we're gonna add the whipped cream on top. And when you dig in, it's just a perfect bite because you have the crumbs, the graham cracker crumbs on the bottom. Put this to the side so that it cools a little bit. The last time I tried it, I was so anxious and I burned myself. So let it cool, let it cool. All right, so I added the stevia, I added the heavy whipping cream. My last ingredient is 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract, okay? So, all right, 3 simple ingredients, no chemicals, no preservatives, okay? All right. Now, I'm gonna put my lid on. And I'm gonna do this for about a minute. I'm gonna press the grind feature. Now I'm gonna check on it, show you what it looks like, see if we need more time. Looking good. So I don't know, can you see? I'm gonna move down. Can you see? Okay. So I'm gonna take a spoon and show you the consistency. Can you see how it comes out? Beautiful. Now I'm gonna put it on top of my pie. And it's melting quickly. So this can be refrigerated up to 7 days. So, okay, so it looks like this. Now it's time to dig in. So when you dig down deep, oh, I'm making a mess. So when you dig down deep, you have the perfect bite. Okay. Please. Mmm. Mmm.
Keri, we just need to see that dip and dig one more time on the spoon, just like right in the camera, because, you know, we're at home and we're behind the screen, so we definitely want to see the scoop, because we still can't believe that this was done literally in like 5 minutes in the microwave.
Yeah. Okay, I'm going to dig in and pull it up, but I want to get, so this, can you see?
We can see.
Their crumbs are on the bottom. Really good. And my whipped cream is quickly melting, but great consistency. So,
is there a way we can store the extra whipped cream? Do we put it in like a Ziploc, put it in the fridge to see if we can store the extra, or is it just a one-time use?
I put it into, yeah, you can store for up to 7 days. I keep it in one of these glass containers with a lid. Yeah, and it'll keep. So it looks really, really pretty. And so it's melting now, but yeah, so you don't have to use Cool Whip that has a lot of sugar and preservatives. You can use this. It tastes great. Now let's check on the chili. I'm gonna bring that over. I'm gonna move this out of the way. I miss seeing you all. Okay. All right. So my whipped cream's aside. Oh, smelling good. So I just want to show you the update. As this continues to cook, it's gonna become even more thick. Okay, let me move down. Okay, can you see?
Oh, we could see, that looks hearty. The pumpkin looks so good.
Yeah, so this is gonna continue to cook. And you can freeze this, you can store this in containers and use within a week's time. But it tastes better to me as time goes on. So yes, it's very hot. I'm gonna let it cook a little bit longer, but if you can see how it looks. My healthy turkey chili. It's lean, full of vegetables, full of iron, full of fiber. Cook a little bit more. Okay. So, and there we have it. So you have your meal, you have your entree, your chili, and you have your dessert using wholesome ingredients. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you'll try it and you'll let me know how it is. And if you have any questions, let me know. Any questions in the chat, Sandrine?
Not right now. People are just like, this food is looking too good. They're definitely going to try it. If anybody would, where can we get more information on you, Keri? You are a nutritionist. You have a book out. So please just tell us some more information. Gina, I'm going to put that whipped cream ingredients right now in the chat for you. And I'm also going to put our email address. If anybody wants us to email them the actual recipes and prep time and information, the full details, we can definitely send that to you. I just didn't want to bulk up the chat with so much information for you guys because I know it'll be a lot to write down. But if you want to place your email in the chat, we can definitely send you this recipe tonight. So you get, you know, our healthy holiday turkey recipe, our holiday turkey chili recipe, and our pumpkin pie recipe that was done in 5 minutes in the microwave, and also a homemade whipped cream that was made with it too. Amazing. I just can't believe it. But Keri, tell us more about you and where we can find out further information about you.
Okay, as Sandrine said, I'm a nutritionist, and I did just write a book. It's called Confectionery Killer, The Cause, Impact, and Cure for Sugar Addiction, and that's available on Amazon. It's also on my website. My website is Empowered Living NYC, EMPOWEREDLIVING.com. I'll put it in the chat. And there you could find a lot of recipes like this. You can find blog posts. You can find inspirational quotes. So there are a lot of resources. There's a free download on my website also. It's called Sugar A to Z. And it'll tell you about 26 ways sugar impacts our lives. So that's a free download. There's also a free 90-day challenge. You know, the new year is coming up, 2021. And I know that I promise this to be much, much better than 2020. And so a lot of times people have resolutions to get in shape. So there's a 90-day wellness journey that you can begin. You can begin now, but a lot of times people want to wait till after the holidays. So you can download that for free, and then you can use that as a guide to help kickstart your weight loss and your health goals. So and if you have any questions, you can email me. I'll put that in the chat too, at empoweredlivingnyc@gmail.com. So it's been a pleasure presenting this to you today. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. I would love to chat with you and know if you tried the recipes and how you liked it. So,
Keri, one quick thing. I do not have the whipped cream recipe. I have the pumpkin pie recipe. So if you could just go over really quick again, and maybe we'll just try to, jot it down for our team in the chat here.
So let me show you. So it's 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. Okay, it looks like this. 1 cup of heavy whipping cream. And there's only 3 ingredients. And then this is what I use. You can use whatever sweetener you like, but I like this. This is called Better Stevia Glycerite. So I like this. You could use this. And for this, it's just half a teaspoon that you'll need. And the last ingredient is vanilla. So vanilla extract. And so this is just 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract that you'll need. That's it. Those are the only ingredients. So again, I used a food processor, but you can use a mixing bowl. And when you see the peaks come up, then you know it's done. It's very fast. Don't overturn it because then it'll become butter. You don't want that. So very simple, very fast. So anybody else?
Question? Someone said they were late. Is that a turkey chili?
Yes, it's over here. Let me bring it back over for the person who just joined us.
And just tell us the ingredients one more time, because it looks so hearty. It's colorful. So I know that latecomer, we're not knocking you for being late, but we want to make sure you get the full recipe in here. And I'll put that information in the chat again. Also, you can find more information and recipes on Keri's website at empoweredlivingnyc.com.
I'm going to move this down so you can see it's thickening up as we speak. Is that a good picture?
Oh, that's a good angle. It looks so good.
Okay. So so for the ingredients, I used lean white ground turkey, and that's a very lean ingredient. But as I said earlier, you can use beans if you're a vegetarian, you don't want to use any type of meat or poultry. You can use ground chicken. But I chose to use the ground turkey because it has more fiber, it has more protein, and it's more lean. So these are the ingredients. Let me see. I have 1 small yellow onion diced. These are the ingredients. 1.5 teaspoons of kosher salt. Half a teaspoon of ground black pepper. I wonder if I can hold this to the screen, if people could take pictures. Can you see? Or no?
Oh yeah, that's a good angle. Little up, that's really good.
Yeah, so people could just take pictures because there are a lot of ingredients.
And I just put the ingredients in the chat too, if anybody wants to copy and paste to something really quick. It's definitely there. For those of you who are on a computer, on a phone, if you want to take a screenshot of the image really quick, just so you get that information in. And then I'll also copy and paste and put in the full directions as well in the chat for everyone right now.
Okay, can you see it? The directions are on the bottom.
Yes. Oh, that's a good angle too. Yep.
Okay. And again, you have options with this to make it your own. So you can also use, I use virgin olive oil, but you can use coconut oil, and you could use ghee. And ghee is something, I'm going to show you a bottle of ghee in just 1 second. It's clarified butter, and it can be stored at room temperature. So a lot of people in the Indian community, they use it. And so a lot of people prefer it. You don't need as much as you do butter in order to create a delicious flavor. So, and I wanted to say about the whipped cream. Is this good, Sandrine? You need more time or?
No, I think that's great. Thank you so much, Keri.
I wanted to say about the whipped cream that even though I said it's a low sugar recipe and item, it's heavy whipping cream. So it does have fat, it does have calories, but again, it's better that you just have one serving rather than have a whole pie. So if you have that desire to have a pumpkin pie, you don't want to make a whole pie, you don't have the time or the ingredients, or you don't want it sitting there, because sometimes when it's sitting there, it's calling our names. So if you want to relieve yourself of the temptation, you could just make this in less than 8 minutes from start to finish if you have all the ingredients. And but it is fattening, but it's just better than eating a whole pie, which I have done in my lifetime. So
Could we say it's healthy fat? Because I hear that there are some healthy fats.
It's yes. So it's not processed. It's a healthier form of whipped cream. I'll put it like that, because there are no preservatives, no chemicals in it. You made it yourself. So but it does contain fat in it. So don't think, oh, I can have lots of this. No.
Yeah.
Moderation.
Gotcha.
Moderation is the key. I'm going to show you a shot of the chili. It's thickening up even more. So.
And that can just be eaten on its own, because I know some people like to dip some bread with some chili.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, they also like, to have the rice, but yeah, I'm content to just have this in a bowl by itself. Should I dip it out and show you?
Oh, please, if you can, just so we can just get a full image of this delicious meal.
So, yeah, nice and thick. So let me show you. Can you see? So
awesome.
Nice and hearty. So, yeah.
That looks good. It looks amazing, Keri. And literally, we've been on for an hour and we spoke, and you literally just gave us an entree and a dessert in less than 40 minutes or so?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes.
Awesome.
So.
That was amazing. If there's no other questions in the chat, somebody said crackers with their chili, maybe a few crackers, watch your serving portions. I know, many people are trying to just live a healthier life. And if you weren't on earlier and caught the opening, just comments from City Council Majority Leader Lori Cumbo, who just spoke on wellness and coming into this new you and blooming in such a year and making a healthy statement for our community. Health is wealth. We're making it a new norm. We're creating healthy habits for our Black and Brown brothers and sisters in our community all over the country, because, they've said we are not healthy. We're not living healthy lives, but let's make a change with that. Starting right now, we don't have to wait for the new year for anything to start. Like what Keri's saying, if you visit her website, she has a whole 90-day plan that can help us. She has information on sugars, fats, healthy recipes. So again, Thank you, Keri. And our nutritionist, let's give a shout out to Keri Watkins-Webb for such an amazing demonstration. I'm still shocked that we literally have 2 meals that was done in 40 minutes. I think it's going to take me a little longer, but I'm going to try my best to get this done as quickly as possible. And you can find out more about Keri at empoweredliving.com. And her email is empoweredlivingnyc at gmail.com, where you can reach out to her for some more information. And again, big thank you to City Council Majority Leader Lori Cumbo, right out of Brooklyn's 35th District, who sponsored tonight's event, and AmitaCare Health Insurance, who is bringing this type of event to your community virtually. But hopefully when it's safe and well for us to be back out face to face, we will be back in community doing healthy and wellness events such like this one, like Healthy Cooking Demonstration Live, where we're gonna actually sample and eat this good food, right? Because I know I'm jealous that Keri gets to eat it all by herself. I want that pumpkin pie so much. And other events like yoga, dance fitness, exercise. So we can't wait. And we thank you all for joining us tonight. Please look out for more events, free wellness sessions via Zoom, brought to you by your local city council members and AmitaCare. Keri, thank you again. We so appreciate you. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you. Good night, everybody. God bless. Stay safe.
Thank you.